want to just congratulate you on yet another second place, but that's kind of like second to Merckx, because you've got a lot of seconds to Lyne Bessette. But boy, as the season goes later and later, Bruno gets harder and harder to beat for you. Tell me about the difference of your styles.
You know, most says she's best in the mud, but I'll tell you, she needs some power.
Tell me a little bit about that last lap, because I said if she came up that run-up with a good gap on you, it was lights out for you. It looks like you did something pretty hard to get in front of her on that run-up. Tell me about that strategy.
You know, Richard, I didn't hear you say that, but that was exactly what I thought. And oh God, if Mo's in front of me on these turns up here, I'm in big trouble. She's a really good technical rider, so I knew I would have a really hard time holding her wheel through that, so I knew I wanted to be in front of her.
A lot of riders have difficulty understanding the difference between power and speed. We say Mo has power, you have speed. Basically, when it's sort of at a low speed event, Mo's superior. But the faster it goes, the better for you, is that right?
I think probably. I knew there was a spot or two where I could gap her, like up this hill over here. I felt I could get away from there, and I really wanted to hit that first. In the last one.
Tell me about the start when you got Lyne Bessette in the race. Do you look around and go, I want to race against Mo and I want to race against these other gals? Or do you try to race against Lyne? Or do you just see how long you can go against Lyne?
What I really wanted to do was get on Lynn's wheel through the first turn and see how long I could hold Lynn's wheel. That was really my goal. I really want to see if I can hold on her wheel. And I ended up in front of her this time, which was perfectly fine through this tough first couple of turns. So, but then she came around, we tried to hold on to her wheel, but it's so hard. It happens almost in slow-mo as that gap just starts to open and open and you're hurting.
A little bit about you going into the national championships. A lot of Canadians, Alison Seidor, you see Natasha Elliott, very good. You talk about Wendy Sims, Lyne Bessette. If I take away all those Canadians, you really have to look at your U.S. national prospects as being pretty solid, because that's a whole different category for you. What's your strategy going into November, December?
I'm going to obviously race as much as I can. I have to think about staying rested for nationals because it's still a long way away. It's still a good month and a half away. But yeah, I mean, if you really look at who's going to be there at nationals, I'm hoping for a good result. That's the biggest race for the season we're having. So.
What kind of race do you want? What kind of conditions? What kind of track? What kind of weather would you like?
I just don't want ice.
All right, Rebecca Wellons, there you are. There she is, Rebecca Wellons, ladies and gentlemen, second place today, second place yesterday, with Bruno and Lyne Bessette. I'd like to get a word with Lyne Bessette. While we're waiting on Lyne, I want to get a word with Bruno. I gotta say that red stuff on your leg is flashing with the green.
Well, I had a red hat I should be wearing.
That's perfectly. Oh, I gotta ask you, how bad is the crash today? Because a lot of times you hop up from a crash, I've had a lot myself. You get up from a crash, and you go, that wasn't that bad, and then you go to the bathroom later on and get that dress and look down, and they can be a lot worse. Tell me about your crash yesterday.
It was when I tried to take a bath last night. I just had this leg and it really hurt.
So you put everything on that leg, and tell me about other body, everything else today?
Yeah, everything else was pretty much fine. And it was, I almost felt like it was a slow speed crash where you see it happening, you can't help yourself, and then you get up and realize you're in the harness of your muscles, you're just sprint. That's what hurt the most.
A little bit about you right now. You had to really fight. You had a little bit of trouble in a few spots today. And Rebecca opened up that gap on you. You had to burn a lot of your ability to get back up there. Did you really get straight a little bit out of the back before that? Or that you didn't have to do a lot of that?
Well, I think that I'm actually learning how to race, even though it's cross, because there's a lot of power out there, a lot of flats, a lot of advantage to being with somebody else in the group. So I'm learning how to do that. You know, when somebody like Rebecca can come around me and sit up and recover and then go hard again, I'm kind of a one-speed person. So you see it out there where somebody can get a gap on me and it's harder for me to, you know, keep recovering and doing that. So I'm kind of learning how to road race cross. So that's hard for me. There's a learning curve and, you know, I think this is just coming around now.
I gotta ask you, I said, you had to come up that hill with about 10 bike lanes on, 3 bike lanes on that, and really showing against Rebecca. And on the far run up on the south side of the course, and it felt like when Rebecca came up that front, did you feel like you were jammed up a little bit, and she had a good tactical move to get in front of you on that run up?
You know, it's so there in the ground is so loose that, you know, you get up that warming up, you come up at a low and you get all over the world. Your legs are flailing, your bike's everywhere, and she's right in front of you, you have no space. So she was good enough to get in front of me where it made me actually have to slow down because her wheel was in my face. I think in her part, she knew she had to be up
your race today that do not know you're a sprinter, but you were like, damn it, I'm going to try to sprint. And you actually lived up there for a while. You were already on there for a little bit. I think that's something you got to work on and just help out and close out the deal with some races.
Yeah, I mean, again, I'm learning how to road race and sprinting is part of that. The last two GP races I finished, with sprints, so apparently that's a good thing. Even though I have to say I don't know how to do it, so, Rebecca was smart, she kind of slows down, moves over, and I'm like, where are you going? So I'm learning there too.
All right, Coach Bruno, a brilliant third place today. Great ride. I want to get a quick word right now with Lyne Bessette. Then we'll be making our first couple of stations for our elite men. And I would like the gentleman with the trefoil to come up here, please. Get you to come up here.
Behind her?
Yeah, you can stand right behind her with that. Do you notice this guy at the races?
I did yesterday. It's hard to miss.
I gotta say, this guy's coming to everything out there. But tell me a little bit about Canadians. We see the Stevens team, Allison Sider getting into it, and it's almost like there's too many of you guys coming over the border. What's going on with cyclocross? What did you do to help cyclocross in Canada?
They call us Mexican, by the way. We all try to go over the border. Actually, we've had a lot of series out west. There's some really good racing going on, and on the East Coast, with the Quebec, it's kind of starting, but all the Quebec people come to New England to race. So, the level is getting stronger and stronger every year, and it's good.
Tell me a little bit about your racing right now. You've been very sick. You really lost 3 meets in your season. And you didn't race against the men. The idea was to back it down. And really, you got to put together a whole new schedule. And tell me a little bit about how do you race when you're at a different level than everybody here. But I feel like you got to be mentally fresh. You got to be feeling like a winner. Where do you go now in your training? As you go into New Jersey and the USGP coming back up, do you feel like you're coming back together from where you were? I know you had a horrible illness.
I got a cold, and I just dragged the thing for 2 weeks. And it just happened that it was at Nationals and the first USGP, so I felt really awful. I took the whole week off last week, and so this is basically a restart for me. I feel much better, but I'm not quite there yet, but I'll be there in a couple weeks.
I noticed, and I'm going to rub this in a little bit, and that's an American expression, but for you to miss the podium at both GP days, did you go home a little bit angry? But do you have the maturity of an athlete? Do you need to say, no, I don't need to go harder, I need to go a little easier? Is that the decision?
I was actually really bummed out. I just couldn't control myself. I couldn't push the pedals, couldn't come out of the corners. I was, in my head, I was having a really hard time, and physically also. So, I'm happy that I have a coach, and really lucky that I've been working with him for 13 years, and he always had the right word for me, and he told me, just chill this week and restart everything.
What do you think going into the New Jersey Grand Prix? Good for you? Look out Allison Sider, look out Katie Compton.
Sure, I'm not worried. I'm going to do my best and try to build up for the rest of the season.
All right, Lyne Bessette, your winner today. We're going to get underway with your podium presentation. Right now,